I'm here with Erin Calvimontes from Divine Celebrations, and I just thought this would be a great opportunity to talk a little bit about a new idea that Erin's come up with, which is called luxury micro weddings. And so I'm glad to have you here, Erin.
Thanks, Joe. Good to see you.
Yeah. Um, so maybe we ought to just jump right in, and you tell me a little bit about yourself and what is a luxury micro wedding?
Sure, absolutely. So, my name is Erin Calvimontes. I'm the owner of Divine Celebrations. We have been in business over 30 years, and we help any client, no matter what their budget is. We specialize in luxury weddings, so usually they're very high-end, 500 people, but not always. And so this thought came about when a venue, two venues actually here in Pittsburgh, closed down rapidly, just with no warning. And there were so many couples that were left without a venue. So our team actually went on Facebook and told couples, hey, if anybody needs help, please let us know. And we helped about 15 couples find venues at no charge. Our hearts just broke for them. And as we were helping them, a lot of these couples were saying, we lost so much money because now they're not getting their money back from this venue, that we just really want to downsize it. We want to do it a little smaller. And I thought, well, why don't we put together a package that is luxury micro wedding? So it's a little smaller scale event, and it's we literally take this. It takes the stress out of planning. The luxury micro weddings include everything a couple could need without the stress of dealing with a wedding. So literally everything but the dress. Couples choose from several luxury venues, like the Hotel Monaco is on with us, on Nemacolin and Woodland, Omni, William Penn, and Weston, just to name a few. They also get to choose from hundreds of dates that these venues have available for the couples. The couples will have 2.5 hours of celebration for up to 50 guests. So it really is a micro, intimate setting for them. So the micro weddings also include, like I said, we take the stress out of their wedding. So it literally includes everything they need, from the luxury venue, professional planners, floral, hair and makeup, photographers such as you, Joe. Thank you for being one of our wonderful vendors. Ribbon wands for the ceremony, the officiant, the music, meaning possibly a DJ. The cake is included. Favors for the guests. We're also including invitations, the RSVP management. The venues are offering 2 hours of beer and wine and champagne bar, elegant cheese display, and 3 past hors d'oeuvres in this 2.5 hour celebration. So it really is quite a lot, like literally everything they could need for their wedding.
Let me just kind of go off of something you'd mentioned about the venue and what kind of brought this idea to your mind. And that was well before the current situation we're in now, right? That was
right, absolutely, well before COVID. I think the venue started closing down. I think it was February, like early February.
Yeah.
We're closing January, February, sometime in there.
Right.
So we've been thinking about this for a while.
Yeah. It seems like it's a, given the current atmosphere, in large gatherings, they kind of seem like risky, in both in terms of who's going to come to them, but also you make this financial investment into a large event, and you might end up having to change your date. I guess
both you and I have had that happen where our couples. I have a couple that has a plan A, a plan B, and now even a plan C for their wedding moving forward, because we're just not sure.
Yeah, I mean, uncertainties are real issue in the industry these days, and but just because a wedding's small, I mean, how can couples have a fun and memorable celebration without it just being like small, like less than?
Absolutely. So who doesn't want to spend time with their closest friends and family? So that's really what this allows them to do, is invite their closest friends and family and just have a really great time. The reception is set up in a cocktail reception style. So all the guests get to mix and mingle and have fun and talk with each other. And then they can also do some upgrades, like if they wanted to upgrade or add on for a photo booth, they can do an ice sculpture luge. We can include a live event painter. They can upgrade their bar if they want a full scale bar going on. But it really is more about the intimacy of having, close friends and family, not your dad's boss's sister, because you're obligated. It's just really an intimate setting for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that in mind, I mean, we're not just talking about, the customary kind of Saturday afternoon to evening sort of event. I mean, especially whenever you start considering that a lot of the 2020 weddings have moved to 2021 and are maybe taken up some of those Saturday afternoon, evening dates already. I mean, we're talking about maybe something that's at a different time, whether it's a Friday or a Sunday, or what are your thoughts on scheduling?
Absolutely. So most of these dates will be Friday or Sunday, maybe even a Wednesday afternoon. And the couples will be able to choose maybe an afternoon event or an evening. But Fridays and Sundays typically tend to be more readily available. And we encourage our couples to make a weekend out of it.
Right.
Invite some friends over for a backyard barbecue as a rehearsal dinner. Take in a game. With Pittsburgh, hopefully we'll be able to open up baseball season and football season and hockey soon. Take in a game. Do a tour of our rivers. Like the options are endless. So we really want the couples to extend their weekend and really enjoy it with their guests.
Yeah, and hey, that could be a brunch wedding, and who doesn't love a brunch wedding?
Absolutely, and then they can take their core friends out and and do an after party or something somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh boy, that sounds great. So, what are we talking about here? You say you put together these packages, but we're talking about people still have some choices though, as far as vendors go and that sort of thing. I mean, we talked about different venues, but also the vendors involved too. Is that correct?
Right. So the more choices can actually be more confusing to couples, especially when they're scouring the internet and they're not sure who they're looking at, what their reputation is, if they're reliable, and that's where a lot of couples can get in trouble with their budget. So what we've done is taken our core vendors that are chosen are some of the best vendors in the Pittsburgh area. Very professional, they're reliable, they have great reputations, and they've been in business for a long time, and they're going to keep going into business. So couples won't have to deal with the stress of that. We also will be rotating our vendors based on the availability of the vendor after the couple chooses their date. So if a couple says, hey, Joe told us about this, we'll also include you in that conversation of what dates are best to make sure that you're available for their dates. Yeah. But for the most part, they won't have to worry about even choosing their vendors.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I always kind of think of like, you go to a restaurant and, you get a menu and it can be 6 pages long. But if you go to a fine dining restaurant, what's the menu like? It's like one sheet.
Just the main, the main entree, and then everything else that's included, you get, it's kind of like a surprise.
Yeah. So it's like maybe more of a curated list than just here's everything, you pick sort of thing, right?
Absolutely. Now that doesn't mean, however, if a couple, and I'm a professional photographer by trade, so and I'm very, very particular and picky about our photographers, which is why you're one of our preferred vendors on our list. But if a couple is particular about photography or particular about their floral, absolutely, we'll give them the list and say, okay, we can't guarantee that they're going to be available until we talk to them, but look at their websites. Pretty soon, very soon, we'll have a list of all our vendors on our website, so guests will be able, the couples will be able to click on there and see who our vendors are. But for the most part, we're going to try not to have them choose, just so that it takes the stress out of having to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that sounds great. But you've kind of answered this already, maybe a little bit. But how would it all work? What's the first step that a couple should take?
Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that. So they can contact us through our website, which is luxurymicroweddings.com. Yeah, or they can call me at 412-436-0337. We'll look at venues together, see what their dates could look like, and then get the ball rolling from there.